When more than 130 Labour MPs threaten to scupper your major government policy, it might be time to change tune. But given the welfare budget for working-age Brits is set to rise by over $25 billion in the next 5 years, and as the government spends $100 billion to pay off its lenders after years of high borrowing, what will it take for ministers to find a fair outcome for MPs and for the UK economy? Prime Minister Keir Starmer revealed today the government would engage in talks with frustrated backbencher MPs over proposed welfare reforms before a crucial vote on Tuesday. Several Labour Party politicians have demanded that consultation and full review take place before cuts worth £4.8 billion are made primarily to disability payments. These are otherwise included in changes to how personal independence payments, or PIPs as they are better known, are made for disabled people. Britons are currently judged on a points-based system for PIPs, with criteria involving questions on whether they are able to do daily tasks such as eating food and getting dressed. The government's changes could affect 800,000 people, according to independent analysis. Changes to universal credit mean under 22-year-olds will not be able to receive extra payments offered for incapacity. And these reforms, included in that £4.8 billion savings package, has drawn the ire of senior Labour Party politicians, including veteran politician Diane Abbott and Mayor Sadiq Khan of London. Around 130 MPs have signed up to an amendment that would essentially thwart the reforms. Labour ministers have argued that spending on PIPs, for example, has increased from £12 billion before the pandemic to £22 billion last year. And the Office for Budget Responsibility has also predicted that the welfare budget for people at the working age will increase by more than £25 billion over the next 5 years. The government previously argued that the reforms are good for public finances because they allow for more savings and for the UK economy as well, as more people are incentivised back into work. Starmer signalled that he would be ready to water down the reforms as he told Parliament that he would be prepared to work with colleagues on finding solutions. Several reports have cited comments from angry backbenchers saying that political management had been shambolic, that Rachel Reeves had looked for quick cuts, and that Starmer's own position as Prime Minister was at risk. The next few days of negotiations could be decisive and signal how serious the government is about keeping borrowing levels down. In fact, the cost of borrowing is predicted to be around £105 billion in 2025, nearly 3 times as much as before the pandemic. Some City analysts believe the government cannot afford to borrow more and change fiscal rules again. They have already predicted that the UK's economic slump and this year's higher cost of borrowing could mean tax rises in the autumn will amount to as much as £20 billion. Reversals on spending cuts would only raise the probability of tax hikes, particularly after the government partially U-turned on ending winter fuel payments, which will now cost £1.2 billion. One City of London firm, the private bank Berenberg, has also claimed that the Labour Party's divisive politics and lack of control over policy will force the Bank of England to keep interest rates higher for longer. That could mean the government and Brits face higher costs for borrowing. For more news on government spending plans, head over to cityam.com.